Driver's Seat is presented by Ray Reese Volkswagen and Portland's Hyundai, Portland's #1 VW dealer, and Portland's newest Hyundai dealer. Now let's climb into the driver's seat on Miles Around Television.
In the driver's seat, we're going to take a look at this. It's the 2008 Nissan Xterra. When you think of trucks, you think of American brands, but a lot of people forget that Nissan have been making trucks for almost 100 years. They started off with fire engines, and they still keep the quality in their trucks today. This is a great off-road vehicle, and it goes where you want it to.
That's one of the beauties of the Nissan Xterra's design. It's one part hardcore off-roader, other part urban assault vehicle. Nissan has done a great job of being able to blend urban utilitarianism in the interior, both with great stowage, little trinkets, even a safety kit, but also being able to blend real hardcore truck parts. No unibody here, ladder frame, great horsepower, but we'll start right there, under the hood.
The hood's open on the 2008 Nissan Xterra. The V6 under here has walked away with some awards. In fact, it's been on the Ward's Best 10 list for the last 12 years.
The VQ V6 engine is just part of the laundry list you get with the 2008 Nissan Xterra Off-Road Edition. 261 horsepower is plenty of power for any circumstance, and you also get a couple items we need to make sure and mention. One is Bilstein shocks for better on and off-road control. The other is the limited slip differential. Don't know what that is? I'll put it into the easiest terms. See those cars in the mud with the one wheel turning? Well, a limited slip differential makes sure that both wheels are turning and makes sure that you don't get stuck in the mud. Now, a little bit of experience back in several years ago when I got to test vehicles. I got to test the Nissan Xterra, my very first press vehicle, and I was impressed then, and I'm impressed now. Nissan makes sure that they do a great job, and have, of blending the lines between an urban assault vehicle and a true off-road crawler. I would definitely say that on the road, very good vehicle. Off the road, one of the best out there. Mentioning performance as one of the most important parts of this Nissan Xterra is only half of the equation. Looks also play a big part in how attractive this vehicle can be to the potential buyer. Very aggressive lines, big fender flares front and back make the vehicle look mean and very performance orientated. One of the notes I'd like to make is the fact that they don't paint the rear or front bumpers. Why? Because if you're going off-road, you don't have to worry about chipping them on stones or rocks or trees that you're pushing out of the way. I also like the fact that Nissan keeps it simple. There's an old adage in the advertising business, keep it simple, stupid. Nissan realized that, and they hit it on the head of the nail right here.
There's several things on the 2008 Nissan Xterra that make it stand out, and they've been constant throughout the Xterra line. That is the hump or the bump, as the Nissan call it, in the back door, also the hump or the bump in the roof, and the step on the back side. Now those things are very, very Nissan Xterra. There's reasons to them though too. The hump in the roof allows the stadium seating. The bump in the back allows you to have a first aid kit in the back door, and the little step on the back allows you to climb on the roof if you should so be waving for help because you're stuck in the mud. Unlikely to happen in this car. We're going to start at the back of the 2008 Nissan Xterra, looking at the interior. Plenty of room in the trunk, and moving into the back seats, there's also plenty of room. It's very noticeable when you sit in the back here, the stadium seating. In fact, my eye level is well over the driver's seat. The seats are comfortable, they're waterproof of course, and everything back here is guarded, including the speakers. They're at floor level, and you can kick them pretty hard with muddy boots and you won't damage them. They're made that way so this vehicle can be taken off-road into the tundra. There's also drink holders, and okay, those handles to get you in and out are really important, and they're right where they should be.
Jumping into the interior of the 2008 Nissan Xterra, you are greeted by one of the best interiors in the industry. Not because of 8-way power leather seats or fancy over-the-top navigation systems. It's because of real-world usability. I fit in the vehicle. I'm 6'2", 250 pounds, and yet I can always find somewhere comfortable to sit in the new Xterra. Also is the way that the HVAC controls are easily manipulated, even if you have gloves on, if you're jumping in and out in the cold. And then there's that great Rockford's Fosgate Lionsgate supplied audio system, giving you that, pun intended, the right punch on the bass. Now, this vehicle does not have fancy this or fancy that. Technical terms, by the way. It has real-world usability, and that is the Nissan Xterra's interior strength.
So we've had a chance to test drive the 2008 Nissan Xterra. We've had a chance to look on the inside and out. Dennis, 2 ups and 1 down?
Very easy, Nick. The first is the real-world off-road capability. This is an off-road vehicle that can actually go out in the mud and have some fun and not get stuck. A lot of pretenders out there in the small sport utility world. The other is the interior. It's simplistic way that it makes it so you have not only space for the items you want to carry with you, but great seating positions for both front and rear passengers. Now, my down, Nick, is going to be this. I think for the potential buyer, it might not be polished enough. It might not be enough upscale attributes to make the buyer spending 30 grand happy.
Let me tell you about my 2 ups and 1 down. First of all, the simplicity of this vehicle really reflects what Dennis says. This is a vehicle which is simple but gets the job done. It doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to do a lot of extra things. It just does what it needs to do, and it gets there. My other up is something about Nissan. This truck, or this SUV, was formulated when Nissan were having some serious problems at the end of the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s. Nissan came out of that, and for the last 8 years have been part of the Renault Group. They share some of the same financial operations. They've done a great job. This is a company that have pulled themselves out, and this sort of vehicle actually proves that. My down for this, and I'll tell you, there's either 2 things that are wrong with this situation. Either I'm too old for this vehicle, or the vehicle's too young for me. They're kind of the same thing, but I think at $30,000, the price may be a little bit high.
I think he's too old. That's our review of the 2008 Nissan Xterra. The 2008 Nissan Xterra off-road V6 4x4 comes standard with a 4-liter dual-overhead cam V6 engine and a 5-speed automatic transmission. The base price is $27,330 with an as-tested price of $30,590. The city mile per gallon rating is 14 miles per gallon, and the highway mile per gallon rating is 20 miles per gallon.
Seat is brought to you by Ray Reese Volkswagen, family owned and specializing in Volkswagens for over 15 years, and proudly presenting the all-new Portland Hyundai. Check them out at rayreese.com. Miles Around Television is broadcasting each week from Gresham Toyota Studios. Walk in, grab your just looking badge and relax. Then check out hundreds of new, used, and certified Toyotas worry-free. Gresham Toyota, where just looking is no problem.